everyone, my name is Sunny. I am 9 years old, and today I'm going to talk about all about animals. Ooh, that sounds cool. Turn the pages. Okay, let's see what's in this book. So here, all about animals by May Evans. Ooh. Okay, so what are some animals without backbones? We have a backbone too, and animals also have a backbone. And there are many kinds of animals. Some like mammals, reptiles, and amphibians, birds, and fish. Ooh. Okay, so some animals have backbones. The backbones help them keep shapes and help them move and help them safe. Okay, so here, look at these pictures. Mammal have fur, birds can fly, fish swims, reptiles, lizards and crocodiles and alligators are reptiles, and amphibians, frogs and toads. Okay, so animal with backbone here. Mammal have backbones. And also bird, fish, reptile and amphibian, right? And some mammal have fur. We also have fur. Do you see these? Our tiny, on our skin, there are tiny little fur. And some mammal have hair. We also have hairs. Look, black hair. All of us have black hairs. And young mammals get milk from their mothers. When everyone was small, they drink milk from their mother. Even animals also drink milk from mothers, just like us. Okay, so now here, let's talk about birds. So, well, did a bird have a backbone? Of course they have. They have a backbone. It helps them keep shapes. And they also have wings, so they can fly. Birds also have a long beak or a short beak, like a hummingbird. Hummingbirds drink nectar from flowers. Okay, so here is a seagulls. Birds have feathers. Here, do you see its wing? Here, it's two wings. It has feathers and a beak. So, look at this fish. Fish have backbone too, and they live in waters and they swim. They have gills so they can breathe in waters, and fin and a tail so they can move themselves in a lot of directions. So most fish come from eggs. Did you know, like a clownfish? It comes from eggs. But do you know a seahorse? A kind of seahorses, the females did not give birth to babies. Their father gave birth to babies. Wow, what a great kind of fish. When the males are ready to hatch, when the babies seahorse is ready to hatch. And then there will be a little holes on a tummy, on a stomach of the males. And then 1, 2, 3. The seahorses, the little tiny seahorses will come out. Well, it lays about hundreds of little tiny seahorses. I don't know very much about it, but here, most fish have scales. You see scales, and here, look closely. Here are its scales. It helps them breathe. Okay, so let's move to reptiles and amphibians. Turn the pages. Turn the pages. Turn the pages, please. Turn the pages. Okay, so here's a reptile. Snake is a kind of reptile. And here, reptiles are of scales, just like fish, but they don't live in water. They live on land like mammal, bird, like mammals. Okay, so scale help reptiles stay safe. Do you know the rattlesnake? It's a reptile. It has a little bells on its tail, so it rings, so animal will stay away from it. And some reptiles come from eggs. Oh yeah, you know snakes. How about crocodiles and alligators? They also come from eggs. The alligators will hatch, will give birth to eggs, and then move around the nest to keep the egg safe. And then tiniest crocodile alligators will come out of eggs, and then they will grow up. Okay, so come on, look closely at these pictures. This is a red-eyed tree frog. See it? And do you know what it is? It's not a mammal. It's not a reptile. It's not a fish. And it's not a bird. It is an amphibian. Amphibians have backbone. Here, I'll show you the backbone. Here. See it? And amphibians live on the land. It can live on the land and in the waters. Look at the toad. You see it? The toad and frogs. There are many kinds of frogs and toads. And amphibians have wet skin. You see the wet green skin here is wet. So the skin is smooth too. Have you ever touched a frog? You may or you may not. It was smooth and wet. So amphibians come out from egg too. Ooh. It's just like mammals, reptiles, fish and birds. It also comes from eggs. Okay, so let's turn the pages and see. Okay, so what are some ways mammals are adapted? Ooh, sounds like cool. So here, mammals live in many different places, like a squirrel or chipmunk. When winter comes, they sleep in holes. Well, you know, like squirrels, they have a tail. And a tail will keep the squirrels warm. And it will maybe get some leaf in to make a little bed for them to keep them warm. The squirrels do not sleep all winters. They wake up and eat acorn and then they go to sleep again. Okay, so here, let's look at this deer. You see this deer is in summer. And look, this deer is in winters. It's the same deer. It's not different. When summers come, the fur of this deer will become brown and a little bit white. But when winter comes, its fur will turn a bit black, look at this, and a bit white. The white is the snow, yeah. So here, in the summer, it is very easy to see a deer. But in winters, snow will fall on it and it will turn all white. And it is using camouflage. The camouflage will help the animals stay safe, like a yellow spider. It hid on yellow flowers, and flies don't know, and bees and flies don't know. They will land it on the flower and get caught in the net. Then the yellow spider will come out and eat it, and eat the flies and bees and other insects. They're using camouflage to protect themselves from the other animals. Here, see? Camouflage helps keep this animal safe. Okay, so how about this one? How about this? Yeah, cute. The animal. What is it? This, do you ever saw a chipmunk? This is a chipmunk. It is sleeping in the winters. So, chipmunk, when it is summers, it will come out of the holes and then it will store food. And then this will sleep in the winters, and when they wake up, they do not sleep all winters. They may be hungry or something else. They can't be like bears. Bears eat all summers and falls and then go to sleep all winters. But chipmunks do not. They sleep, and then when they wake up, they will eat the food that they store, and then they go to sleep again. That's how they survive in the cold winters. Okay, so let's turn the pages and see what's next. So, what are some ways birds are adapted? We have talked about mammals and how are they adapted to cold, how are they adapted, and how camouflage keep them safe. Now, let's talk about birds. But wait, what about penguins? They can't fly. Well, I will see. Oh, do you see some things on these pictures? Do you see some things? You maybe saw a leaf. But there is a bird here. It's using a camouflage to help it look like a leaf. So animals, look at it. I think it's just a leaf. Let's go. But it really is not a leaf. It is a bird. Look closely here. A bird with a small beak, with eyes and feathers. And you see, camouflage help it safe from other animals. So birds live in many different places too. And birds are adapted to where they live. Here, This bird is hard to see in a forest. So I think this bird is in a forest. And it uses camouflage to help them stay safe if an enemy is coming. So how about penguins? What will penguins do when it was cold? Will it sleep in dens? Will it sleep in holes? Will it sleep in nests? Okay, so let's find out. Look at the penguins. Up a little bit. Here's a penguin. It has wings, but it can't fly. For this reason, it only can swim and dive. And they can also slide on ice. That sounds fun. But penguins live in cold weather. If it live in Arctic, it doesn't live like this bird. This bird, I think, is in fall. It lives in cold Arctic. It's a kind of a coldest place on Earth. So, but penguins do not fly and they don't sleep in nests or den. They use their furs. Look at this. They'll have white furs to help them warm. What do they sleep? No, they do not. They will wake up and then dive and then will cut fish to eat. It don't sleep all winters. Okay, so let's move to the other pages. And these, come on, turn to the other page, please. Okay, so what are some ways fish are adapted? Ooh, that sounds like cool. And look at this. Fish live in waters and it has goo to help it breathe in the water. But here, look at this catfish. Here is the goose. Do you know what it is? Come down a little bit. This is a feeler. What? What's a feeler? It was long. Here it was long. What does this catfish use those feelers for? Well, the feeler helped the fish find food. Ooh. So that's good. And up a little bit to see this porcupine fish. Come on. Up a little bit. No. Up. Okay, so here. No. You know where this catfish live? It lives in deep and dark waters. It didn't live on the surface of the waters. And here. And its feelers will help it find food. See? Long feelers help a catfish find food. And now let's look at the porcupine fish. What a funny names. Here is a porcupine fish. Down a little bit to see this. Okay, so here. This is a porcupine fish. Porcupine fish? Is that porcupine have flown in the waters? No, this is a porcupine fish. If you see a real face, it will small. It will be small. Just small. Just like this one. It was just small. But then when an enemies come, boom! The porcupine fish will big like a ball. And then look at this. If an enemy touches the porcupine, oops, bad thing for the enemies. so what are some ways reptiles are adapted? Here's snake. Whoa. I think I don't know snake very much. Okay, so reptiles live in many different places too. And reptiles are cold when it is cold. That's because it don't have furs, nests, and dens. It didn't have feathers too. And here are the chameleons. Here, the reptiles too. And reptile warm when it's warm, and cold when the weather is cold. Just like us, when the weather is warm, we felt warm, but when the weather is cold, is very cold. So here, this animal lives where it's hot. Here, it has light skin. You see the light skin, the green and white light skins, and the light skin habit get cool. Okay, so here's neck, and well, it have teeth. You see teeth, but the snake didn't chew the food. It didn't eat like us. When we eat an apple, we chew on it, we bite on it. We use our teeth to bite it. But snakes don't chew their food. It will open their mouth very wide. And some snakes swallow their food whole, just like an egg. They'll open their mouths very wide. Swallow it all. Don't chew anything at all. Well, and what will it use its teeth for? It will use its teeth for biting someone, biting the enemies. And the chameleons, it had a long tongue, and then you see the insect. It will silently crawl closer to the insects, and while it about 5 or 10 inches, it would use its tongue to catch the insect. The insect can't go away. If it's fast, it can fly away. But if it's slow, it will stick to the tongue, and then the chameleon will pull the tongue back and eat this insect. Whoa, it is very interesting. Okay, so what are some ways amphibians are adapted? Here, this is a red-eyed tree frog, and this is a toad. So, first, they live in waters, but they can live on lands too. It can live on trees, in a forest, and in many places. They can live like this red-eyed tree frogs. And so the smooth, wet skin helps them live both on two places, lands and in waters. Okay, so here's a toad. Toads live on land and also they can swim a little bit in the waters, and they dig the ground to stay cool. If the sun is hot, they will dig the ground to stay cool. Ooh. And toads usually look for food at night. Here's a toad. It caught a shrimp, a little shrimp. And toads usually eat small animals and insects. Okay, so let's move the pages. Whoa, oh, what is this one? What are some animals without backbones? What will they do? Without even a backbone? Can they make shape? Will it stay safe? Will it stay safe? Maybe. You know about animals with backbones, but how about animals with no backbone? The first thing I want to tell you is the honeypot ant. Honeypot ant will eat nectars or honey, and their tummy will fill with honey like this. See it? It loves honey. And some people cut the honey, and some people even try to cut honeypot ant and then eat. Just they don't eat the ant, they eat the honey and the nectars. Some ants will eat the orange nectars, and some ants will eat. There are many kinds of nectars, and here's the tummy fills up like a little small balls. Whoa, interesting. Okay, so most animals are in this group. This no backbone group. And how about, look at this one. Here is its head, thorax, its antennae. Oh, it looks like a catfish, but it's not a catfish. Oh, insects do not have backbone, like ants. Or butterflies, or bees, and others insects. And insects have 3 body parts and 6 legs. Okay, so first we need to look closely at the pictures. Here. Look closely. Down a little bit. Okay, so look closely at the pictures. Do you see any animals in these pictures? 3 seconds to find out. 3, 2, 1. Do you find any insects? Do you see the stick? Oh, you see stick. There are no animals there. But wait a minute. This is not a stick. It's an animal. It's an insect. It is called a walking stick. That sounds funny. The walking stick just looks like a stick. And if it's on a tree, it will just look probably like just a branch, a little stick on a branch. And any animal comes there and look down to find an insect. They look again and again, but nothing else. Then when an enemy comes away, the walking stick will slowly walk on the tree without no catching it. That's a very good camouflage, don't it? And here is other animal without backbone. Up a little bit. See this octopus? No, up. Okay, so here's an octopus. It lives in the oceans, and look, you can see very well in water. Here are his eyes. And this how it finds food. So look closely. This octopus did not have a backbone. See? It has 8 legs, or you can call it 8 arms, but it did not have a backbone. Well, some squid maybe shoot ink. Yeah? And you know, this octopus will put its arm in the air like this one and then push it very hard. The octopus will fly here like this. Pretend it's an octopus it will come. It will swim here to here. If its arms push very strongly, it's living in the oceans. Okay, so let's move to all the animals that did not have a backbones. Okay, so here. This is a spider. Spider make webs. It caught insects. The spider will make a big webs on a flower or a tree, and then it will hide. When the insects fly by or crawl by, it will stick to the web. The web has sticky. The webs here is sticky, and then the insect will caught inside it. If the spider will not come out and makes more web to stick it on the web, it can maybe pull its leg or arms out and escape. So when insects fly by and caught in it, the spider will run to the insects and makes a web like a net and caught the insects. The insects have caught in the webs and let a net on their body so they can't move, they can't run away. Some really big spiders even caught smaller birds. And then when they caught the insect, they will eat it without the webs. While spiders have 8 legs and no backbones. They have long legs, like you see here, and spin webs. Spider eat insects. Some big spiders even caught small little toads and frogs. Okay, so animals live in many different places. Some animals live in China, on a mountain, in the Arctic, under the waters, and on land. They can live in any places. And even the desert it was hot, but they can live it, just like the Arctic. It was cold. So some animals have backbones, some animals did not have backbones. All our animals are adapted to places where they are live. Thank you for listening. Bye. See you again.